The question being asked is, did he know too much? Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted sex offender, socialized with powerful politicians and billionaire businessmen. In August, he was found dead in his jail cell a month after being arrested on sex trafficking charges. The New York City medical examiner called it a suicide. Now, a forensic pathologist hired by Epstein's brother disagrees.
So my opinion is that it was a homicide.
Dr. Michael Baden has investigated President John F. Kennedy's assassination and testified as a defense witness in the O.J. Simpson murder trial. Baden was hired to witness Epstein's autopsy by a pathologist at the New York City medical examiner's office.
She did a good autopsy, and she agreed at the end that she would not call it a suicide. She wanted further information because this was not a this didn't look like a suicide.
But the chief New York City medical examiner signed his death certificate as a suicide by hanging.
It looked more like a strangulation or stomping of the neck. There was really a crushing injury to the neck with fractures of the bones by the Adam's apple, which would not happen in a hanging.
There are elements that lead me to believe that there may have been a homicide here.
Criminal law expert Dmitry Shakhnovich.
When fractures around the larynx take place, that's indicative of homicide, right? The Adam's apple, which is here, and the bones surrounding the Adam's apple, is indicative of a pull, not from up top, meaning not if somebody hangs themselves.
3 weeks before his death, Epstein was found semi-conscious on the floor of his cell with neck injuries. He said he was beaten by another inmate, but prison officials said he tried to kill himself and put him on suicide watch. 6 days later, he was taken off the watch list, but then the guards that were supposed to check in on him fell asleep.
The cameras that are on the cell and the hallway weren't working.
Does it appear to you that that should have been a crime scene and that the chain of custody of his body and any evidence that was there was tainted or mishandled?
It was not protected and it was destroyed without being properly evaluated. The body should never have been moved. The medical examiner should come to that body and examine it at the scene.
New York City's chief medical examiner, Dr. Barbara Sampson, said she stands firmly behind her determination of the cause and manner of death in this case, saying her office had done a complete investigation. But Dr. Sampson never examined the body of Jeffrey Epstein.
The guards having fell asleep in a federal prison system, the cameras being out of order. It's also my understanding that Jeffrey Epstein's cellmate was removed from the cell several days after Epstein was moved in. There is some indication of foul play.
The case is currently under investigation by the FBI and the Justice Department's Inspector General. Frank Uciardo, TRT World, New York.